So Kaz, we took a great walk out there in the vineyard, and here we are tasting some of this fabulous Cabernet Sauvignon that you told me about.
Yep.
What makes Sonoma Valley so great to grow Cabernet Sauvignon?
It's actually the perfect storm for the Cabernet grape to grow in. We've got just the right soil. We have the clouds are actually parting right above this part of Sonoma Valley and allow it to be a little warmer here. And there's, again, like we talked about earlier too, these nice winds that just put all those things together, and it's the perfect storm.
Yeah. You know, it's got a great history here too. The Wildwood Vineyard is where it was kind of originally planted here, and that goes back to the 1890s.
Right.
And then really the 70s it picked up here, and we've got so much great stuff going on that I think that this really tastes like this vineyard is special here, but there's a lot of it in Sonoma Valley, and that's special too.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, it really is a prize, and this is, again, is our early release. This is, we call it our white label, and it's just it's only 4 months in oak, and then bottled, and voila.
Yeah. Well, I hope you don't mind, but I poured a little bit for a friend of mine that I met this morning. So,
nice.
With buywine.com, I met Ann, and I invited her in. Hey, Ann, come on in.
Whoa.
Hi.
How's it going? Kaz.
Kaz, so nice to meet you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
I'm excited to be here at the vineyards, and I was wondering if maybe you can help me, teach me a little bit about what the process is. For example, your vineyards, how large, how many acres do you have?
We only have an acre and a half on my specific vineyard that I own right here, which consists of a Syrah, Lenoir, Cab Franc, and Chardonnay.
Okay, so those are all different types of grapes that are being grown.
Different varietals here on the soil.
And so, when you're producing the wine, is there a lot of wine that you're yielding a lot of wine, or it's kind of boutique, kind of limited?
Ultra uber boutique.
Okay,
so we were talking a little bit about that in the vineyard. I have this one grape that's Cabernet Franc and also Lenoir. We only get 1 barrel of each of those grapes on this property.
Wow, so when they're ready.
When they're ready, they come in, and they're treated with kid gloves, because that's all I got.
And so then they're limited time only. And then now, are you growing grapes and harvesting grapes year round?
No, grapes are good question. Grapes are only harvested 1 day of the year for that varietal.
Oh.
So, and the whole vineyard will harvest at one time.
Okay.
So that means that all the grapes, we prune the vineyard so the fruit will be as evenly distributed as possible to be in the same class range. So they will all be harvested on the same day. If you had to go back in a second day, the wines would be twice as expensive, because the crew would have to come out and pick, like, the ones that are ready another day.
Oh, right.
So we just have to make a big estimated guess, and after years of doing it, I guess pretty good about when the grapes should be harvested, that the sugar levels are all going to be consistent with the acids to make a good wine.
So tell us a little bit how you got started in the business.
Well, back in the day, many, many moons ago, which was actually the technical number that our winery is 1994. But I actually started making wine in Orange County in '86, in your old stomping grounds.
Sure, absolutely.
There. And what my wife and I had come up here on just a getaway from our kids, and I fell in love with the area. I was a commercial photographer in my other life. Came up here on a photo shoot. Started looking around just for a possible place to retire, and one thing led to another. Basically in '92, when the photography advertising business went from film to digital, my life changed overnight, so I decided to do something a little more fun with my life, and created the first organic winery here in Sonoma Valley.
Wow, well, it's absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
So we're tasting a little Syrah now, huh?
Yeah, from the vines right behind us.
Yeah, and then we also, little percentage of this has a little bit of that Cabernet Franc that we tasted out there, too.
Yes.
So after you harvest, is there a period of time where you have to let the land breathe before there's
No, because what happens again, it's that one harvest per year on those vines. The vines are almost like a tree.
Okay.
So the tree is there for however long it could be there, 85 years, 100 years, whatever. Grapevines are the same way. They're going to be there for that long and be harvested continuously as long as you give them enough water and nutrients of some kind to kind of sustain their every year from producing fruit.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a comparative to an orchard. Like you have an orchard and it goes dormant for a lot of the year and then it comes back. It's the same thing that's happening with the grapevines. Whereas with corn, you do corn for this one period of time, you take it out, you plant something else there in the other part of the season. You can't do that with grapes. Once you plant them, you're committed to really farming them from that point on until they don't produce enough fruit for you.
Yeah, so is it hard to, like, is it easy to predict if perhaps, let's say you might have a year where it's dormant or it's not producing? Is that something that's easy to see or to predict in your vineyard?
Well, again, the dormancy happens every winter, but then not knowing exactly what Mother Nature will give you the next year, the weather has a big impact. And we've been blessed the last 3 seasons now, and I'm predicting that this 2014 crop is going to be awesome.
What type of weather is?
Well, just for grapes, we don't need rain.
Oh, okay.
No rain.
No rain.
You want to keep them real dry as much as possible, and if the vineyards are grown in such a way like ours that we actually are dry farmed. We don't irrigate.
Oh, okay.
So no water at all. When you see irrigation,
is that different from other?
Most of the other guys do irrigate, and they're also giving them nutrients in that water too. Even it's called fertigation through the drip tubing lines that they can get nutrients and water all at one shot.
Does that depend at all on the type or the variety of grapes that are being grown?
Not as much as the varietal, but the way they're grown. If they're looking out for a little bit more mass-produced grapes, you got to keep feeding them. You want big babies, you got to feed them and give them lots of milk.
Yeah. So do you have
grapes are the same way.
Okay, so you've harvested and you have a new do you have a new wine each year, or
yes.
is it okay? And so then you have a big tasting party and
yes, yeah, absolutely. And we're starting with this one today.
I love it. And the community's invited.
Yeah, well, vintage does make a difference. I mean, it might be the same grape variety and from the same plot of land, but the vintage does make a difference.
Big time.
It's the heat that comes in that year. A hotter vintage can be a little bit more of a struggle. When it's really the way that you want it, it's that moderate kind of warm temperature a lot. You've got enough water in the background, to back up if some heat spike, as we call it, comes in. This year, it's been a fairly dry year in 2014. We have great expectations for it. And I will say one thing about the way Kaz does it. With really not irrigating. And that's the way that they did it in the old days, before irrigation was available. So those were great vineyards too. So really I like what Kaz has done, because he's really backed off and let the grapes really struggle a little bit. And when they struggle, the clusters are a little bit tighter because they've been working hard to produce that fruit. And so the flavors are very, very pure.
That sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
Wow. I like it.
What do you think of the wine?
Well, let's have a taste.
Okay.
Shall we?
Indeed.
It's rich, and so it has
nice.
a nice fruity tone to it.
And this one is your white label again?
This is our early release white label cab, 2013.
Very young, but very vibrant.
Yes.
It's got a lot of nice cherry kind of flavor in there, some nice berries, some nice little earthy tones to it, and it's just flavorful.
Yeah.
Wow. That's great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I noticed that on the label, you have a couple of bottles over there, and you have a label. What is the name of that one?
Say Raw.
Say Raw. So how do you come up with the names for your
So all
wines?
our labels are old black and white photographs. My son's a graphic designer and actually colorizes the old black and whites that are pre-1940s. Then we just kind of throw a name that'll either kind of help name the grape, or this is a combination, because in the old, band is Say Raw, Raw, Raw kind of a thing. football games and such. So this is also saying the name of the grape, Syrah.
Oh, right, exactly.
We have a Pinot, and a lot of times a lot of people can't say the word Pinot Noir. But on our label, there's a capital P and then N-O-R.
Oh, that's great.
So Pinot Noir.
To help people like...
Exactly. So we also have fun with it.
Yeah.
We
Oh,
also,
great.
there's a tidbit that I don't think Chris even knows, that the word Kaz is hidden in every photograph.
Oh,
So
I
you
see
gotta-
it here. It's actually on the drum right there.
There you go.
Aha.
So
I love it.
It's just an extra little thing that we do that's kind of fun so people can come in and search for the Kaz on the label.
Wow, that's great.
This is a really special treat, Anne, because this hasn't even been released, and here you are with buywine.com. You come here and
Yeah.
look what you get is this
Treated.
special treatment.
Royalty.
Kaz,
Thank you.
right here with
I
us,
love
tasting
it.
this wine.
I love it.
Fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Sure. And it's always worth a second gulp.
Mm-hmm.